In the final round,
the audience choice ingredient?
Bud Light!
And here we go.
Looks like Chef Dubois is emulsifying the Bud Light into a foam. What's his competitor doing?
He appears to be having a really good time.
A Bud Light reduction for Dubois. And his opponent?
Also improvising nicely. Let's see that again.
Judges.
I like the use of the pressure cooker to tenderize the beef.
But also the use of the cell phone to order the pizza.
It's the sure sign of a good time. It's just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Sorry, Chef, we're gonna need more ingredient.
From Buffalo Wild Wings, this is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Super Park and Bud Light.
Hey, welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. We've got a great turnout. We appreciate you coming out tonight here in Creve Coeur. We appreciate you listening. On 101 ESPN and the Rams Radio Network, Jeff Fisher, the Rams head coach, has joined us. And Jeff, man, you don't play boring football games. I'll tell you that, buddy. The day after, your thoughts.
It's a game. You're supposed to have fun, right?
We have fun. We have fun.
Did you?
You know, I was going to ask you. You always talk about you want your players to have fun. This should be a fun game. Are you having fun with this team?
Oh yeah. I am disappointed for them.
Sure you are.
And that we didn't make a number of or take advantage of a number of opportunities to win this game last night. But they responded. Keep in mind what happened 2 weeks ago, and then they had the bye week in between. I mean, teams sometimes it's hard to overcome, and this team just they blinked and went on, and they had fun. And I imagine you liked it, didn't you?
Oh my God, man!
Talk about some physical.
I'll tell you what I like when everyone says that this team is so much more physical. They're just going to, break the Rams back, and then in the first quarter, the first half, you take it right to them. You take it right to their strength and run right down their throat. I appreciate that. I loved it. We were up there going nuts up there.
Yeah, it was. The guys played hard for the most part. They played smart, executed some. There were some things we asked them to do that aren't easy, and we talk about them a bit. But they deserved to win that. And yeah, you almost got the impression there that San Francisco was relieved just not to lose it. We were trying even to the last second to try to. If they spot that ball correctly, I pick up about 3 or 4 seconds. That ball goes out of bounds. I may have a quick shot out of bounds, and we may be taking a shot at a 65-yard field goal.
Yeah, maybe you slowed it down. We thought at the time it was 7 or 8 seconds.
Yeah, it may have been. I didn't go back.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
Had I told you you'd go to San Francisco and put up 458 yards, 159 rushing, Sam's quarterback rating would be 104, you'd probably say we come away with a win.
That's correct. Said there's no way we'd lose it.
Right.
And we did.
No, you didn't.
Coy smile.
No, you didn't.
You're right.
All right. The alignment penalty.
Yeah.
It was a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It is a penalty.
I go back and find those things in every game. But, yeah, it was. We were not lined up correctly.
It was the second time it was called. Because they had also talked, because unfortunately the tackle is the guy that gets called out.
Yeah, for it. Yeah, and the receiver is supposed to either cover, take a step closer to the line of scrimmage, or the tight end needs to step up and the receiver steps back. So,
what amazed us was, and again, it was a penalty. How long it took for the flag to come out. Normally you would see, if you see the misalignment, you would throw the flag, and then the discussion would come, and sometimes they pick up the flag.
Mechanically,
but to see the flag come out so late was really troublesome, really puzzling.
Mechanically, it was not correct. Now the league will say, and yes, it was a foul, a penalty. It should have been called, and at the end of the day, they got it right. That's the way they look at it. But to your point, what's troubling is the only time they really conference is when there's some question as to whether or not the quarterback grounded the football. Other than that, they'll come together and say, hey, this is what I got, or they may have to do some sort of enforcement, some creative or sophisticated enforcement. But to see what I saw, because, I could hear on the headsets, get up, that kind of thing. We got a bad formation. And then didn't see the flag, and then obviously they get the result of the play and then turn back. And when I saw the headlinesman talking to the referee, I thought, no, this is not going to be good. So, yeah. Oh, well.
Can you explain to me one thing?
Yeah.
What advantage do you get by being misaligned like that? How does that affect the defense if you're not aligned properly?
Well, you can confuse the defense intentionally by declaring the tackle eligible and those kind of things. So that's the issue. And that's, in fact, something we talked about last week that the 49ers had done numerous times this year and last year was send a big lineman in or two, and one guy reports eligible and the other guy does this and he goes, I'm not eligible, waving, rubbing his chest. And the defense sees that, and the defense says, well, he's eligible because this is what.
Right.
So they were taking it, they were manipulating it. So they have to enforce that. But, they used to have that blade of grass thing. Well, is he, if he's up or back, as long as there's blade of grass between them, they're okay. Well, there was a little bit more.
And on that play, we're talking about the 80-yard bomb, correct?
Yeah.
That came
Correct.
back?
First play of overtime.
Did he drop the flag pre-snap?
No.
Okay, so who alerted him?
That's what I'm talking about.
He threw it in the conference at midfield a good minute after the play
So
was
who
over.
told him the formation was illegal if he didn't see it pre-snap?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about.
That's
why
what
he needed
that's what I say. He
consultation.
should have. When you recognize the illegal formation, ball snap, flag goes up. Play is allowed to continue. You don't shut a play down for illegal formation. Only false start penalties on offense. Okay, so the play is allowed to continue, but at least you've got a foul. Okay, because what happens is if there's an interception, then the defense should not be penalized and not being given the ball just because there was a formation problem. So that's the flag should have gone up on a snap, and it didn't. It went up, and that was what you're saying. It was troubling. It was troubling for all of us.
And to be honest, and I'll move on right after this. To be honest, it wasn't 10 seconds after. There was a conference, and we couldn't figure out what they were conferencing about. We thought maybe it was excessive celebration. Don't know. And then the flag goes up, so that was. But you had the. I'm sorry. You want?
I was going to say, and one more lost in that play was Danny Amendola gets deep.
Yeah.
I mean.
And Sam threw a perfect pass.
Perfect pass on that.
Yeah, lost in the play was, hey, we're going to take a shot in overtime right now. Shotty said that. I said, you okay with that? I said, sure, let's get it. So, he double moved him, and it was a great throw. And then Danny to keep his balance.
He had to keep his balance. The guy was on him.
Yeah, it was impressive.
And then you had the delay of game penalty that wiped out the 53-yarder. The interesting thing about what we're talking about here late in the game is that earlier in the game, I thought you guys did the best job yet of overcoming the penalties, the kind that in other games had blown up your drives, but you kept drives going despite that most of the day.
Right, particularly because 16. I mean, we're converting third downs. You get a 1st and 15. We run it for 5 or 6. You got a 2nd and 10. We get into a 3rd and 4 or 5. Danny's making the play, convert a lot of third downs for us. So it was good to have him back, but. Yeah, the penalties are bothersome. It's the penalties we talk about that have nothing to do with the play. We'll handle a hold, here and there and stuff like that. But the ones that have nothing to do with the play are the ones that are troublesome. Now you got a combination of things. You got crowd noise. You got a lot of checks on the line of scrimmage. You got some big guys up front. We're coming off a bye week. Penalties seem to peak a little bit after bye weeks over the years. So. And we talked about it too. Believe me, we talked about it during the week. We couldn't avoid. But at the end of the day, if there was a penalty, one particular penalty that you could say cost you, you'd have to say it was that one, the formation and/or the delay on the field goal.
And again, it was bizarre because I couldn't imagine what the holdup was. I couldn't imagine what the flag was. I didn't see anybody move. I didn't see anything. The last thing I'm thinking in my mind is this was a delay game. Didn't even enter my mind.
Oh, on the field goal?
Yeah. Didn't even enter my mind.
Yeah, well, see, I called timeout on 2nd down because we need to settle down.
Right.
You have 2 in overtime. He had already used his up.
Right.
And so during the timeout, once we were deciding to play, I went over to Greg and to John, the kicker, the punter, and Jake, and told them that, look, if we don't convert here on 3rd down, I'm going to take a shot. And I told him this. I said, hey, all you got to do is kick it through those 2 poles, and we'll go to the airplane because it's waiting. Let's get out of here. And I said, but don't be concerned about him freezing you or icing you because he has no timeouts left. He can't. So go on out, get lined up, get set. Let's go home.
Stay in your rhythm.
Yeah. And it took just less than a second longer than it should have.
A couple of our favorite moments we were talking about. Number one, a lot of guys played well. Steven Jackson, a couple of things. The touchdown drive late, I thought your offense grew up in that touchdown drive. That was a tremendous touchdown drive at the right time. Steven knocking off Patrick Willis to give Sam a shot because Sam was throwing to an area. It was kind of a blind throw to begin with. And then the run that Steven had, we took on Willis. So you give Steven credit for keeping it. And then here comes Rob Turner, and here comes the cavalry. Your bench, the whole bench erupted and almost came. I thought you were going to get penalized. The whole bench got into it at that point.
Yeah, it sent shockwave through the bench, and that play really, I think, epitomizes the personality of a team that you want. That's the kind of team that we want. That's what, and I showed him that today. I showed him a TV copy of that. Said, "This is us. This is how we go about things now," and everybody understand it. So, and if you have problems being in the middle of this pile with bones and helmets and stuff flying around, then don't come out.
Hell, we'll come down there. That was fun, man. That got us fired up.
That
Look,
was awesome.
Not one to bellyache. I know you're not one to bellyache, but god dang it, that is defensive holding if I've ever seen it. Justin Smith grabbing a guard and a tackle.
Oh, it is.
Come on, really?
It is. The disappointing thing for me is we knew once the league moved the umpire back behind the offensive line of scrimmage, there's nobody there to see it. But they missed a couple when he was back on the other side, back at home, inside of 2 minutes and inside of 5.
Well, he missed a big one in overtime too, when Alden Smith sacked. That was he had Roger with right hand, and he had Shelley with the left hand.
And that's what Coach Coughlin with the Giants was complaining about several weeks ago. So we'll address that next time we play them, and we'll see how they like it.
You ready to take a phone call or two?
Yep.
All right, let's go out to Chico, California. Barry, you're on with Jeff Fisher. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Coach. I just want to thank you for being able, for a great game yesterday, for being able to leave that place without a loss, without being booed out of the stadium. It's a great feeling that we didn't get the win, but it sure was sweet being able to walk out of there not losing. And that physical play that you brought is, we're gonna be turning a lot of heads in the years to come. I had just a question for you regarding. It looked like Brockers was really imposing his will on the interior line of the Niners, and I was just kind of in comparison to a couple weeks ago. I know it was a terrible game in London, but is the talk was that the Niner line was one of the tops in football. It seemed like we got no pressure in London. It just looked like there was a day and night as far as it looked like we were bringing a bunch of different blitz packages at them. Again, Coach, thank you so much. Keep working hard. Let's take down Ryan and the Jets this week.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we mentioned after the London game that the footing was an issue because of the surface and the rain and all that kind of stuff. And when you have bad footing, it's hard to get a pass rush. And actually, the grass the field conditions were excellent. They were really good. And but Brock played pretty well against the run yesterday. I mean, he battled in there and was getting off blocks. And you like to see him separate and then one arm and then reach out and grab that back with the other. That's how you have to stop their run. Somebody's got to make plays like that. So he took a step forward. Still got a ways to go. But we hung in there. We had some wrong fits on some of the runs, but when they came right at us, we hung in there.
The one that Frank Gore scored, the one play, what happened on that play?
Yeah, we had a wrong fit.
Wrong fit. Okay.
We had a motion turnaround, and guys switched responsibilities, and we had our half-field player hit the C gap, and we got it was one of those things. Not good.
Let's go to Sedalia, a little closer to home than Chico, California, and welcome Dale. Dale, you're on with the head coach.
Good night, gentlemen. I'll tell you what, it's a good day in a way. It's fun to watch all the gambling that you do, Coach. Anybody that throw a pass from a punt formation out of their own end zone, that takes a lot of nerve. You got to be crazy when it's doing. And anyway, I just wonder, we need to come up with a name for Johnny Hecker, like Slinging Johnny Hecker or something like that. And I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Well, he's 3 for 3 right now. He's got pretty decent quarterback rating.
Not bad.
And you're going to have, the thing that happens is, these types of plays are only going to help you down the road because people are going to be very, very conservative against your punt team. and which means, his net, his growth, that it should all continue to get better, particularly because we're not going to get double presses
the gunners
out there.
are going to get loose.
Yeah, they're going to get loose, and people are going to. So that helps us. And I was telling someone today when Coach Fossil, brought him to our attention pre-draft. I remember the first question I asked was, "Can he throw?" He said, yes, he could throw. He was a high school quarterback, and he dunks a basketball. He's a great athlete. So I said, okay, let's go.
You had a similar athlete in Craig Hendrick in an Alton Marquette product locally, who was a terrific athlete himself down in Nashville for years.
I don't know if you realize this, but Craig came out on 2 occasions and worked with John this summer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
On punting and throwing?
No, he didn't
just
need to
punting.
work on the punting. Yeah, just helped him with the punting.
Just on the punting? Two things before we go to break, though. I thought they were executed perfectly. I turned to him in the commercial break, and I said, that looked exactly like a hot read, nonverbal between a quarterback and a wide receiver in the first fake. And that actually saved points because you're going to turn the ball over before the halftime, and they're going to get field position.
Potentially, yes.
The second one was a thing of beauty. It's an option. You put the guy covering the gunner in a terrible position. He's got to come up and let Kendrick's got a clean release.
Yeah, well, it was Danny.
Right.
So, and they didn't really even recognize it with Danny, but you think that would just trigger it, and the whole defense would follow Danny on the read on the option, and John had a run pass option. If there was nobody in his face, then Lance turns up the field, blocks, and John just keeps running. If he's got pressure, then we figured that Lance would be open. The interesting thing about it was, for some reason on the play, they went to 2 deep. They had a short returner and a deep returner, and it was the short returner that came up and made the tackle for a 19-yard gain. He was a defensive player, number 20. But had they just been 1 deep back there with the returner, the odds of Ted Ginn tackling Lance Kendricks, not very good.
You like your chances.
Yeah, I like your chances, yeah.
We'll take more phone calls when we come back. 314-969-0101, 618-399-0101, or hit us up on Twitter at Rams Radio. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota. Back in a minute on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. When you believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. Superstition ain't the way.
Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans who do whatever it takes. Here we go.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. We have a great turnout tonight for the Jeff Fisher Show in advance of the Rams and Jets. Going to be back at the Edward Jones Dome. That'll be good to be back in there.
Yes, it's been a month.
Been a month?
Been a while, yeah.
A long time. All right, Jeff, let's talk about you had two rookies deactivated yesterday, Chris Givens and Janoris Jenkins. Okay. The report was for violating team rules. I know you addressed it today. What's their immediate future?
They'll be basically reinstated for everything this week, and we'll see how they practice. So, but yeah, it's got club rules, and when you break them, you got to pay the consequences.
Is that a situation? Not the first time you've ever had to do this. A situation where you also rely on your veterans in the team, maybe to
I think it helped them to maybe understand why and the consequences, and maybe the discipline, and then maybe some assistance as to how to be a better pro. Yeah.
That's lessons learned, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got a glimpse of Brian Quick's ability on that first drive.
Yeah.
A great move to get open, and then a stiff arm. Big physical kid. That's kind of what you envision.
He is. That's great. That's what we expect from him. And he played. I've been asked, well, how come he didn't play? Well, he played. He just, they're a good defense. He just we didn't have any opportunity to throw him the ball after that. But that was just what we expected. We got the matchup. He was primary receiver on the route, and I watched the release, and when I saw the corner go down, I turned back to find the quarterback. Gosh, I hope Sam's seeing the same thing I'm seeing here, and he did.
He did.
He doesn't miss anything back there. It was a great throw.
How great was it to see your offense take the football and go down 2 times right away?
It was great. That's kind of what we try to do, you know.
Well, it's easier said than
yeah,
done
it
in
is,
National Football League.
And that's what, you know, we kind of talked about it right before we came out. You know, let's go win the toss, defer, you know, kick off, get a 3 and out, go down, get a touchdown, and then just play from there. You know, and then our goal was to come back in the locker room twice. You know, once at halftime with the lead, and secondly at the end of the game with a win.
You know, quietly, we've been talking about this offensive line and how it's been patchwork, this and that, guys coming in and out. It seems like the interior guys are getting better and better and better.
Yeah. Shelley, I mean, Justice Smith's a good football player, and Shelley hung in there, you know, with the exception of a couple things here and there, but just what we're talking about off air was the holding and stuff like that. But, yeah, he's solid. You know, he's a 305-pound. He doesn't look like he's that way. He's got good leverage, and he plays with good technique. And then, of course, Rob's done a really good job filling in for Scott. Real good job. And then Harvey's just Harvey. I mean, Harvey loves to play. He loves playing. He's mean, nasty, quiet, and you know, just you got to love that.
I don't think he's playing, Coach.
But
I don't think he's playing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cross lines and hurt your team, though. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
You come across guys like that, and we had a guy here. He'll go nameless, but we had a guy like that once upon a time. But he doesn't go out and put himself ahead of his team.
Oh no, he loves to play. He's smart, and it's important to him, and that's good.
All right, we have touched the West Coast tonight. We're going to go to the East Coast for our next question. Utica, New York. Joe, welcome to the Jeff Fisher Show. Your question or comment?
Hi, good evening, guys. Jeff, a question for you. Can you elaborate on Saffold's performance, being that he's just back, and the blocking ability of Kendricks? I witnessed one block on the nose tackle where he just pancaked him. Also, Brockers did quite well. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, you were watching very closely. Yeah, that was the second play of the game. Lance, you know, it's the wham block, the wham play. You know, it's classic, and he did. He got him over backwards. It was good stuff. So
Marco's favorite play.
I know your favorite.
Love that play.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get hit more on one side than the other?
A couple times. Yeah.
I know. So anyway, but Roger came back and had a good week of practice and came in there and battled. And I think he'll only get better this week. You know, a little rusty. It's been a while, but we'll have another good week of practice and he'll be fine. We had a feisty practice on Thursday with pads on. You know, just to set, you know, kind of set the tempo. That, hey, this is what we have to do going into this thing. Got a great look out of the practice squad and practice squad backs. And, Lauren Eyes is tackling Chase Reynolds in practice, you know, on Thursdays. And so had a sense that things were going to go pretty well.
That's always good.
You didn't have to put them in a feisty mood. They just were.
They're
feisty
they got there themselves, yeah.
All right. Let's go to Imperial and Stefan. Stefan, you're on with Jeff Fisher. Welcome.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say that the Rams are no longer the footprint on any team schedules under Jeff Fisher. But what I really want to know is what's the plan for Isaiah Peed, since we have a great smash and dash run game with Jackson and Richardson back there. Do we trade him for a decent lineman or a defensive back, or is he just going to remain retirement? Because I hope not, because he fumbles the ball a lot. Thank you.
Okay. You know, Isaiah is a very talented young running back, and as we've said time after time, it's hard to get 3 running backs touches in a game. We have some things where we're utilizing him out of the backfield, and you know he's a good receiver out of the backfield. So we'll continue to do that. You know, yes, he needs to understand ball security, and in addition to that, have a better ability to make decisions with respect to, do I bring it out, do I let it stay in, those kind of things, and we're working with him. But Chris Gibbons would come back this week, barring the setbacks, and he would be doing our kickoff returns for us.
In talking about dealing with a young player who puts the ball on the ground, how do you go about emphasizing without taking away some of the aggressiveness? You know what I mean? You walk the fine line between saying, look, this can't happen again, without tightening the kid up. Is that a difficult thing for a coach?
Yeah, well, I put him right back in. I mean,
right.
You know, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, you can't pull some. Now, if it's a I mean, if it becomes repetitive and it becomes a problem, then it's no longer his fault. It's mine or ours. You know, if he's just got, you know, an innate bad ball security. But he's not been a guy that's put it on the ground. Now, he did once in the preseason. He had an issue and may or may not have there at the end. But he's got to learn. I mean, he's clearly got to learn from that.
With Janoris out, how did Trumaine Johnson, your rookie from Montana, play?
He did a nice job. We backed down a little bit on his special teams duties, but he did a nice job. There were no mental errors. There was nothing there. He was completely poised, calm, and excited to play. And, you know, it's nice to know that we've got a guy that can come in and line up and play the corner spot with ease and not have any problems.
Pretty young back there. He also, Quentin Pointer got thrown in right into the fire, too. How did he hold up?
He was okay. He was all right. We put him in a tough position, in man coverage on a kind of a shallow crossing route on third down, but he hung in there. And QP's a quiet competitor. He's really smart and competes and tough old guy and good special teams player.
So is Rodney McLeod.
Yes.
It's been a nice find for you.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I think he had 3 special teams tackles.
So he's your leading special teams tackler.
Yeah.
He held on.
Got up and made a play.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
Let's go to Blackjack and welcome Lewis to the show. Lewis, your question or comment for Jeff Fisher?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? You guys have a wonderful show. Coach, I appreciate you being on. I wanted to tell you, sir, I appreciate what you're doing with the Rams. I can see a difference. Last year, 2 years ago, that team would have folded, especially when they came back. But we kept fighting. I finally got to see Bradford do a last-minute drive. I thought that was awesome. I think you kind of touched on it. I just had questions about Quick. It's like I saw him in that first play, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. I didn't know if he got out of the game or if he was hurt or anything. I really think he's going to be a key to the offense as Bradford starts to trust him. And the other thing is just a whole different note. You guys tell me what you think. What would it take for us to honor like Merlin Olsen and Deacon Jones by wearing those old blue and white uniforms that you say? I think that would be great to see.
We've got some throwbacks coming up here in a couple of weeks, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. So we got a throwback game coming up, and yeah, it'd be fun to get creative. Not as, I don't want to go to the extent as the Steelers have over the last few years, but it would be fun to get creative and pull out some of those old uniforms.
Yeah. And he mentioned Quick again.
Yeah, Quick. Again, for the caller, he played after that play. He just was not targeted in the game.
It'll be the Minnesota game. Austin Newport, our producer, says the Minnesota game. Now, you grew up in L.A., so you're used to those old classic, just the blue and white.
Yes.
The blue and white, no yellow.
Right.
60s.
Yeah.
Great-looking uniforms. And Jack Snow used to tell me how great he looked every day he wore it.
Right.
How great he looked every day he wore it.
Just white with that, that white helmet with that blue ram on it. And yeah, it's a great helmet.
He said it made him faster, even faster than.
Oh yeah, white shoes and white pants make you much faster.
All right, we'll take some more phone calls, talk some more Rams, and maybe preview the Jets game coming up Sunday when we come back. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. When you believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. Superstition the way.
Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans who do whatever it takes. Here we go.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. A great turnout tonight. Rams and Jets, by the way, high noon at the Edward Jones Dome on Sunday. David, hang on the line. We're going to get your call in just a minute, but I want to get some more coaching philosophy. Take me through a thought process. There was they were in the red zone. The 49ers had a penalty. 4th and 1 was coming up at a 5-yard penalty. You chose to take 3rd and 6, which I thought was the decision to go for. You can see going both ways.
No, it was 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8. Okay, 3rd and 8.
It was 3rd and 3, which created the 4th and 1. And if I decline the penalty, 4th and 1.
4th and 1.
He's going to go for it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's what you were thinking, right?
Yeah. So the odds at 3rd and 8 get an incompletion. He's not going for 4th and 8. He's kicking
Kick a field goal.
Right.
So that was what you were thinking.
That was the thought, yeah.
More likely to have 3 points rather than 7
Correct.
points.
And then we as coaches, we made a bad decision on the play call and gave up touchdown pass.
The defense,
we
play
put
call.
safeties in a difficult position. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines and welcome in David from St. Louis. David, your question or comment for Jeff Fisher?
First of all, I wanted to say thank you, Coach Fisher, for being here. I've had PSLs since 1995 when the Rams moved here. We have 8 PSLs with our friends, and we've kept them. And this is an exciting year for us. One of the things that I love about the way you coach is the way you coach so aggressively, and you've already discussed the 4th down throws. What I didn't understand yesterday, and maybe you can explain it, is why at the end of the game, and it seemed when the other quarterback came in, that you let up on the accelerator a little bit, went into the prevent defense rather than more aggressive attacking the quarterback. I mean, there must have been a philosophy there, and it didn't seem to go along with the aggression I had seen in the rest of the game. Can you explain that?
Well, we did not go into a prevent. What we were having trouble with, and this is, I don't know if I mentioned this, but over the years in the 2-minute studies that we've done, there's a lot of things that affect a 2-minute drive. One is a sack, and typically if you can get a sack or you are sacked in a 2-minute drive, the odds of success in that drive are slim. They're like 10%. A penalty is also the case, and by the way, sacks trump penalties. But the other side of that we discovered was if the quarterback in a 2-minute drive pulls the ball down and runs for a first down, the odds of success in that drive are very, very high. And so we were having a hard time with him with a 4-man rush getting him down. So what we did was we went to a 3-man rush and went to a spy. And so it was not a prevent per se where we were dropping the 4th guy. We were trying to flush him and go get him to keep him from running for the first down. So and then we gave up a play that we should not have, but he basically did that with his legs. And that's you got to figure that when they started that drive, I used the timeout because I needed the touchdown. We had to get a touchdown. I was going to trust the defense to get off the field. We were down by 4. We need the touchdown. We actually, during the timeout, changed the play call. Shotty changed the play call and called a touchdown pass, which was really good. So now you got to make your play on defense. The other side of the reason for the timeout was that, thus far, we've struggled inside the 5-yard line, and you're going to need numerous plays. In addition to that, wanted to be able to have the opportunity to run the football because we had success, and that's what we talked about. If you can carry balance in the plus territory, you can run the football. So anyway, a lot of things, I'll tell you what was interesting was just for me personally, managing overtime game as it came down to the end. I've never done that before.
Never done it.
And that hasn't happened in 8 years, but to knowing that, hey, this thing's only going to go another minute and 48 seconds, and I do have one more timeout, so I just used the timeout after the 3rd down sack just to preserve time, or I didn't. At that point, we had 100 minute 48 seconds left and no timeouts, and field goal wins, and so you like those odds.
Sure.
But then the last play of the game. Do you just haul off and throw a Hail Mary as far as you can, hoping that you get a DPI or something? Well, what if they tip it and catch it, and now you got a lateral Stanford Cal game on your hands where you're trying to chase down somebody? So that's why we elected to try to get that shallow cross up there just in the field goal range. So.
Back to the phone lines, then Chad from West County. Chad, your question or comment?
Hey, Coach D, how y'all doing?
Good, Chad. How are you?
Good, Coach. Appreciate you coming to St. Louis. I think you're doing a good job. There are a couple of things that I'm really disappointed in. The defense getting curated turnovers. I mean, is that a knack? Because I know when Lovie Smith, it seems like everywhere Lovie Smith goes, it seems lead to league in turnovers. I just guess DeMarco can comment on that. But I think that their philosophy is stripping the ball. What is your philosophy in trying to get your players to create turnovers? Is that just something that's instinctively done by players? Because I just feel like that part of our defense is really lacking. If we can get our offense to, have a short field, not go the length of the field so much, I think we'll be in better shape.
Well, we've been talking about turnovers for weeks, and prior to the game, our opponents had only fumbled 6 times, and we recovered 1. And, we made that a point of emphasis during camp, and we got 4 balls on the ground. We just didn't get them. One they pick up and run for first 12 yards and a first down. So, those things come. But, no, our guys strip, and they yank, and they punch, and they do it just like the rest of them.
Can't believe that balls don't bounce your way. I mean, especially the one when you strip Kaepernick.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's odd. You don't see that often.
Yeah, no. You figure you're going to get one that's going to be in your arms, and you're going to go.
You not only recover, but you can scoop and score.
Yeah,
a lot of guys in that play, it does.
They're coming.
You probably get 8 in the next game.
Yeah,
that'd be okay with you, right?
Yeah, and I'd like to spread them out, maybe 4 and 4.
All right, that's better. That's better. All right, thinking like a head coach. This is the Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota. Back in a minute on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. When you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way.
Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans who do whatever it takes. Here we go.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. Jeff Fisher taking phone calls every Monday night. We've taken them from California. We've taken them from New York. And we are going to Florida for this one. Keith, welcome aboard. Your question or comment for the Rams head coach.
Hey, guys. Keith from Key, Florida. 8 miles off the coast in the Gulf.
Honey, this dinner is great.
Coach Fisher, I'm sure that, when we used to see you play, when you were the coach for Tennessee, you knew you were good because everybody disliked you, which was awesome because you knew you were good. And I couldn't be more happier that they picked you up. And I don't even go to a Tampa Bay game. I have 8 friends that we had season tickets even through the Super Bowl, and we finally got rid of them after we moved down here. Not full time. I still have a house in South County.
Keith, do you have a question for Jeff Fisher? We appreciate your phone call. Just wonder if you have a question.
No, I just.
Thanks, Keith.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you. No, we appreciate the call. We just don't have a lot of time left. We want to talk about the Jets before we adjourn and let you go back to prepare for the Jets. What strikes you about Rex Ryan's football team?
Well, they're going to be, weekly. They're going to be diverse on defense. They're going to have a plan for you. So, what we've seen in the past probably going to be a little bit different than what we see in the game. So we're going to have to adjust. However, Coach Schotte's got a pretty good feel for having worked against them on the, against each other throughout the camps over the years. They're at 3-6. If they're going to keep their hopes alive, I think you could probably categorize this as a must.
They're desperate. They'll come in desperate.
That's fine.
You're going to get their best shot.
That is okay.
Pretty desperate too.
Yeah. It's our next game. Shoot. Next opponent, we're at home. So we have to prepare like we're going to see, Tebow, of course, and prepare that we're going to maybe see him the whole game, even though Rex has said he's staying with Sanchez. We'll have to prepare that, and we will. We'll be prepared for that type of offense. And, they're gonna be physical. They're disappointed, I'm sure. They didn't score an offensive touchdown in the game. I think they scored on defense in Seattle. They scored 7 points. So they're going to be determined to get the ball in the end zone. And so when you're playing a team like that, you have to prepare for everything. Halfback passes, reverses in special teams, everything.
Well, Mark Sanchez takes a beating more than any quarterback in the NFL. What do you see from your eyes?
Well, we're going to – I mean, they've lost some key players there, receivers. So we're going to have to line up and stop their run and then passing situations, put pressure on.
5 sacks this week. Your pass rush came back to life.
Yeah, against a really good offensive line.
Against a good team.
Yeah, good offensive line.
Do you think your team gained a measure of confidence?
I believe they,
despite
the outcome, I believe we took a step. We took a step further because I don't think anybody outside of the building thought that we would go in there and go toe-to-toe with them and have the success that we do.
It's weird because despite the outcome, you didn't lose. It's a tie, but
Yeah.
it just feels weird. You're not going to say. I said to you in the post game in your career, this is your first tie.
First one, yeah.
First tie.
It's different. It's really different. But you have to spin it as if we won.
Right.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
because look at it this way, 9-6-1 is better than 9-7, isn't it?
Absolutely.
9-6-1.
Better than 9-7, right?
Yes. Any day of the week.
10-5-1 is better than 10-6.
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay.
So how are you on the plane ride home? Are you the guy that replays every play in your mind?
Yeah.
Is it different for you as a coach than it was as a player when you're on your way back?
Well, went through the play-by to go back through it, and then we're fortunate to have a really excellent video department, and so I'll watch the game on iPad. So it's there ready for me all 3 phases once I get on the airplane. So watch it till I fall asleep and spill water in my lap.
Jeff, we appreciate. Go ahead.
And I hope Dunbar doesn't get fined. I know it's not up to you. I hope he doesn't get fined.
Come on, see that? No, come on. The quarterback was not even down. He was halfway trying to slide, and no.
He's a runner at that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be an injustice.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first injustice.
Did you see the color hit? Wow.
Oh yeah.
I did not.
That's a fine.
Yeah, that hurts. Although he might be across the line of scrimmage.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I don't know if he gets protection across the line of scrimmage when he throws it.
Well,
good shot though.
Mark Sanchez will get no protection Sunday. We hope it.
We're gonna have to play good, and we will. And we're looking forward to playing back home in front of our fans.
As always, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Go get him. This is the Jeff Fisher Show. It's been brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Spirit Toyota. Thank you for turning out here tonight in Creve Coeur, and thank you for listening on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.